Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore, where today we are going to have a bit more calm of an OPENING! Did I hit you? Did I finally get you with that one?
No.
Darn! Okay.
Ricky, I know you. You can't get me.
That's fair. It's true. He saw it coming. Anyways, that's it. Today we are on the second to last Dominaria United but stories that they have available to us. This one is about Niambi, the daughter of Teferi, who, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember her card.
Does she have a card in this set? I don't think she did.
She must have had a card. Hold on a moment.
We're gonna look stuff up. We're gonna use the giggle.
Teehee. That was a great joke you told in between. I laughed quite a bit. Now,
I hope you guys liked it.
yeah. Now, besides all that, Niambi essentially is just in Jamara, where Teferi is from, right? She's back home, and she's outside the outskirts of Femeref.
I thought Teferi was from Zelfir.
Yes, but the larger continent is Jamura
I hate Dominaria.
because it has so many names.
Yes.
It's like a real world deal. Like there's an actual map.
I don't play Magic for the real world deal.
It's true. Now, with that said, Niambi is basically helping up the Afravan refugees. Afrava, a long time ago, that's where
where Jadet is from.
Yes, I was going to say Jadet Ojanen. Here, we actually see Pilar Ojanen.
His descendant?
Yes,
Nice.
One of his descendants. The other is, of course, the one that we actually have a card for. Do you remember this card? Tsar Ojanen.
Yes.
So, she's there, and Pilar is giving birth to the newest member of the Ojanen group. Of course, we don't know what their name's going to be because they're still a baby and they're still inside the womb, and Niambi's basically a nurse. And she's making sure, or I'd say a doctor, or more likely cleric, since this is a magic story. So, essentially what winds up happening is that she's taking care of this kitten that is about to be born, and talking to these people. They're refugees. They have no home at all. And there's Phyrexians basically everywhere. And the thing is that the way Shelter did it is all the Phyrexians are sleeper agents until they're not. So everyone everywhere is super paranoid. Because that's basically why Shelter did what she did. She knew there was such a large area that if they had an actual unification, they wouldn't be able to actually stop. They wouldn't be able to beat them. And so they need to be divided by fear. And so essentially that's what we see here is that the outskirts of the city, this is where all the Leonin are, and they're not allowed in because they're all being accused of being sleeper agents. Niambi obviously is talking to these people and recognizes them as no. Who would Phyrexianize a Leonin? It doesn't make sense.
I would.
So essentially, she keeps going back and forth between there and the magistrate, trying to convince him, like, hey, these people, they need help. They can help us too. When the Phyrexians show up, we can stop these things from happening. We need to work together. But then, of course, you have all the stuffy people all over the place like, no. That's not going to happen. And so essentially what happens is that they're all afraid and they're stopping anything from actually taking place. Niambi's trying to fix things. At the same time, Niambi is interpreting a dream that one of the Leonin has. Because she has the ability to interpret dreams. Because obviously. And so she's essentially telling them, okay, well, you said this, and that. It's essentially saying that there's going to be this happening. And everybody's like, oh, wow, it actually happened. That was cool. And so she basically talks about how there's a tree and there's a whole like corruption around the tree.
Speak for it?
No, she's not the Lorax, nor is she Danny DeVito. Now, she basically tells them that there's going to be there's a bird, essentially, that's going to come, and it's supposed to, like, clear out that area.
I like how Danny DeVito looks like the Lorax. That's why they got him to voice him, probably.
It's more that they just realized that Danny DeVito had shaved, and they just needed him to grow out his mustache for the actual movie. And that's why it's live action.
That's why.
And
Taylor Swift looks very different.
Yeah, you could say that. Now, the thing is that Niambi is basically part of this whole city deal and discovers that, yes, there are Phyrexians on their way. Yes, they're going to cause a bunch of destruction. It's going to be terrible.
There's this whole story about Phyrexians.
Yeah, exactly. And essentially, it's like a little miniature version of the Mirage storyline. There's a lot of this back and forth of like politics, and if they don't do this, we're gonna have to fight them if they don't do this.
Politics thing where somebody manipulates someone and then someone tries to kill the other one, then it comes to their senses, and then
It's basically just that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, if you read it, you'll find it more interesting.
politics are less fun to portray
But
in a series.
Yeah, because I mean, I could just sit here for the next 5 minutes talking about they went here and they said no, and then they went here and then they said yes, and then they went here. But instead, I'm just going to kind of cut to the chase. The Leonin decide they have to go hide in a cave because if they don't, the Phyrexians outside are going to kill them.
I remember when I decided that I needed to go hide in a cave.
Fair. Now,
I finished American Horror Story.
so basically all this is happening, and eventually Niambi is able to basically find the magistrate when he's alone and tells him, come with me. And so she just grabs him and takes him to the cave so that he can meet the Leonin. Because there's been all of this, like, they're the others, they're the outsiders, there's they're this, they're that, they're going to do this to us if we let them in, stuff like that. And so the thing is that the one with the dream about the bird that finds the tree is the magistrate. He's the one with the dream. And she interprets it for him. And you have all these different characters there, like the different Leonin. And, well, I'll just show you what happens here. Because this is the point where basically Niambi is able to kidnap the magistrate and bring him here. So, the carriage jolted to a stop at the entrance of the mine, stirring the magistrate awake. He looked around, confused and familiar. And as they go in, they can hear a baby crying. And they can hear children. Mm-hmm. And the guy's name is Tashunda, by the way. The magistrate. He says, is that a child? And Niambi's like, yeah, we can love and do love, dear magistrate. Let us go meet her. Basically what it means is that Pilar had her kid. The cub has been born. And so they enter into the mine and they're going around. They're seeing all these Afravans and they're all like ragged and everything. And they're looking at the magistrate realizing like, this is the guy that, if he can be convinced to let us in, we'll be safe.
Okay.
We won't be trapped in this cave. And so everybody's kind of like standing up. Some of them are obviously looking at him angrily. Others are looking at him with hope. Because, of course, it's the same idea of like these are different people. They're actually people. And so he sees them and he goes, who are they? And she's, they are a people who needed someone to speak for them because they are not allowed to speak for themselves. They are a people who needed someone to stand up for what is right and good and just, even though it might be hard. And Tashunda's like looking around like, what is happening? Who are these people? What are they? They go, these are the birds in search of rest upon an embittered tree. And so basically she says, fear is a corrupting emotion that withers the fruit we are meant to give. That is what your dream means. The fruit you are meant to give is, and he's like, salvation. Like it kind of hits him. It all comes together for him. And what's crazy about this is that it's supposed to be like dream interpretation. And we had the whole thing with Asmira in the original visions where Teferi would send dreams to her to kind of guide her through and lead the people of Jamura to salvation. And so essentially what's happening is it's happening again, but instead of Teferi being the one behind pulling the strings, Niambi is genuinely experiencing these dreams and interpreting them.
Okay.
And using those dreams in order to encourage people and to basically lead people. And so basically it says Tashunda, he sees Zar. And Zar obviously doesn't like really trust him. She's like, well, why'd you bring him here? And he goes, you're our Ojanen, descendant of Jaeger and Jedit, champions of Jamura. And she's like, yes, I am. And basically like, she's very proud of the fact that she is part of that. So essentially what happens is that Tashunda sees the Ojanen group and is like super impressed because he's like, wow, I'm actually meeting the Ojanen bloodline. He loved their stories. He loved everything about them. The Jedit was like this super cool blue-white, essentially Tiger Man that was just super epic.
I have the mono green version of him from the Commander deck.
Yes, and
he was in Legends for a little bit.
And the mono green version is actually an alternate reality version that never left Afrava.
Oh, like the
Planar Chaos. He's from Planar Chaos. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so
I like that one better.
Well, obviously, it's a very good card. Now, that said, essentially what happens is that he's looking at all this and he goes, well, who's this little guy? And they go, this is the newest member of the Ojanen bloodline. Their name is Lark. They're a small little bird that came into this world seeking refuge on a dying tree. And so he's like, you guys are going to be welcome with me. At the same time this is happening, his goons, not his goons, the other members of the council are already like huffing and puffing their way through, super terrified of all the cat people around them, and they're in the building in the cave with them, in the mine. And they're like, no, we can't let them in. We can't let them in. They're Phyrexians. It's a terrible idea. It's gonna kill us. They're gonna gut us. They're gonna wear us, and then we're gonna die, in that order. And and he's looking at them like, he's like holding the cub, and he's like, no, these are real living, like, people. They deserve to be safe. And then he tells them, you guys are gonna be like, you'll be here. He goes, Zaro Janin, what is your plan after the Phyrexian invasion is over? And Zar basically tells him, like, when it's over, we will take all of what we have and we will leave you alone. And we'll go and we'll continue our nomadic lifestyle. And he's like, no, you're not.
Stop.
You're welcome to live here as long as you want. As long as you guys are here, you are basically citizens. Because it's not just the Phyrexians. There's going to be many conflicts in our future, and we need people that we can count on. And I know I can trust is a group as noble as the Ojanen people, the Ojanen bloodline. And so essentially what happens is Tashunda just allows them to join Femeref, and the Ifravans are now completely assimilated into the society to fight off all the Phyrexian threats that could possibly be there.
Okay.
And it's just that their own little story happening there, and it kind of just shows how, like, Teferi, he might not be there anymore, but his presence is still reverberating throughout it. Especially because Niambi is directly related to him. So that was pretty cool. This is a much shorter episode, obviously. Not a lot happens that's particularly interesting, but it's a nice little anecdote kind of thing. So take it away, Joe.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to go ahead and catch you guys next time with the finale of Dominaria United.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Go ahead and leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe and definitely do not miss that. And we'll see you guys next time.
It's so good, Joe. You have no idea.
How good is it, Ricky?
You don't even know.